Marty Waldman. I am from Dallas, Texas, and I am the founding rabbi of a Messianic synagogue named Baruch Hashem. The TJC2's vision was born while I was all by myself studying for a speaking engagement I had with one of the large Messianic congregational organizations in North America. It's actually an international group, but it was headquartered in America. And during the process of studying on the topic of how do we Messianic Jews pass down our faith in Yeshua and our Jewish heritage at the same time, I had a supernatural experience. I have an upper room where I study and pray, and I was by myself and felt the presence of the Lord enter the room and became so strong I could no longer study, and I just began to weep. And the Lord just began to, in today's modern language, download this TJC2 vision to me. And it was so strong, I couldn't stop weeping. And at one point, I was awed by the presence of God. I couldn't stand up. I was just so humbled in His presence, with the weight of His presence. And on the other hand, I wondered afterwards if I was crazy with this crazy vision. So I went and I confirmed. I sought people, other leaders, Messianic Jewish leaders, some Christian leaders, to confirm or deny what they would think about this vision. So every one of them, 100% of the people I contacted, and there were a number of them, said, "This is from God." And so we began to pursue the vision. At the time, I was the president of the Union of Messianic Jewish Congregations in North America. And so I called the executive committee, who worked with me in this union, and shared the vision with them and told them I felt I needed to go to Israel to confirm this vision with a well-known pastor named Jack Hayford, and he confirmed it later on in Israel. But I got complete confirmation from these executives, and one of the executives in particular, his name is Dan Juster. He said, "You need to go to Israel, and our organization needs to pay for you to go to Israel." So I was planning on just paying for myself. So it was a blessing like that. But then Dan contacted another man who became part of one of our International Leadership Committee members. His name is John Dawson. He was the president of YWAM, Youth with a Mission. And he joined in with us, as did a number of other people, one from Israel. We had exactly in our very first meeting that we got together, which met at our Messianic synagogue in Dallas, Texas, Baruch Hashem synagogue. There were 7 Jews and 7 Gentiles, 7 Messianic Jewish leaders from the Messianic community and 7 Gentile leaders from the Christian community. And we met there for the first day, for the first time. We met, I think, for about 3 days, and we learned there that every time we would meet, we have to start the very first day by fasting and praying. So we did that the very first meeting, and we've continued to do that for the last 25 years. Now we meet once a year. We did meet twice a year. Now we're down to once a year, but TJC2 has grown so much that there are meetings in other parts of the world now, and so we had to narrow it back to once a year. But that's how we first got started. Then the Lord revealed to us a strategy, the strategy of the Spirit of God for TJC2. So this was the next step. We followed the strategy the Lord gave to us, which was 3-pronged. One, we had to pray. So we prayed in intercession. We prayed on journeys. We went to specific places around the world, mostly in Europe, but all around, Israel and other places, South America, in North America, in Israel, in Europe. We prayed at strategic locations where we felt something had gone amiss, or some church decree had been leveled against the Messianic Jewish community in particular. So we would go there on site and pray. So our first prong of the strategy was to pray. Prayer through intercession, prayer through prayer journeys. The second part of the strategy would be ambassadorial journeys. So a few of us would break off from our larger group, which was our International Leadership Committee, and we would break off. The first time we went, it was 5 of us who broke off, and we were sent out by the entire committee to go to Europe. We went to 5 different countries in a 2-week period and met with individual leaders of the church in Europe, various churches, but the church in Europe. And those were very strategic meetings. We met with Protestants, Catholics, Orthodox, charismatic, non-charismatic. Where the Lord opened doors for us, we would go in. And we had a very full schedule, 5 countries in 2 weeks, and we met with a lot of people in each country, all of them leaders in their respective denominations. The third prong of the strategy was to convene consultations. In fact, I'm in Brazil now, and we just had one here. So we started doing that. We started convening consultations all over the world, in every continent. And so with that 3-pronged strategy, Lord began to open doors, multiply the vision in other countries. And so now we find ourselves in about somewhere between 28 and 30 countries. TJC2 has a presence. We've always faced resistance because I personally believe that TJC2 is really hitting the mark of God's heart and desire to bring Jews and Gentiles together, which was his original design in the New Testament. Already hinted at in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament it becomes very explicit in Ephesians chapters 2 and 3, Romans chapters 9 through 11, John 17, where Jesus prays that we should all be one, and unity in the Bible and even in the New Testament is not simply unity between denominations or between Gentile Christians, but unity specifically is between Jews who believe in Yeshua and Gentiles who believe in Yeshua coming together to form what we now call the one new man. The one new man unity is really the key in Ephesians chapter 3 to make an explosive declaration into the heavens, to the powers and principalities, Paul writes in Ephesians chapter 3. So Jews and Gentiles together by the blood of Yeshua, our Messiah, causes a synergistic energy that becomes a declaration to the powers and principalities that are mentioned in Ephesians chapter 6 in spiritual warfare, concerning God's plan and design for the body of Messiah. So we actually receive, just on a spiritual level, a lot of resistance concerning spiritual warfare. The way we overcome that is to be faithful in our testimony and to pray. Prayer and intercession has become the shield that is around us because God has been faithful to honor his word, that praying is like a shield. And so we focus on the prayer and on the word of the Lord, which is our sword. The meeting in 2022 in Jerusalem is a very significant TJC2 gathering, but it's by invitation only. The best way you could plan is to pray, because it's a very significant meeting. We are inviting as high top-tier leaders in the church and the Messianic Jewish community as possible. We already have a number of those top-tier leaders who have put it on their calendar. It's still 3 years away, but actually we have to reach people 3 years ahead of time who are, like in the Catholic Church, we have one of the top cardinals of the Catholic Church who has been appointed the official liaison from the Vatican to TJC2, and he's put it on his calendar. He'll be there, God willing. So, and we already have top-tier leaders in the Messianic community in the United States and in other places who have committed to be there in 2022. So we will have those kinds of leaders, but it's by invitation only. Pray, and if you know some top-tier leaders and Christian leaders here in Brazil, they need to know about TJC2. And if we can have a meeting with them, we would extend an invitation if they are open to the TJC2 vision.